Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. So this is your time. Okay? The reason that we say that this is your time, I noticed that there were some views that came up on the Science Channel. Okay? So it's twice as fun then. It was so much fun the first time, we did it twice then. Maybe, I don't know. Okay. So now, as we tried to mention, okay, some of these were on that first evaluation, but we see some additions. This was on the first part. The buccinator, that is in the face as well. Zygomaticus, that is in the face. Where do you find these two? Do we remember by chance? Yes, it's on the back side. One's on the inside, one's on the outside, just like you said. Okay, it's part of the hamstring group. Okay. Now, one aspect about this, does anyone know where your Achilles tendon is? So, how many deer hunters do we have out there? Because typically, if you're going to, don't you need to drain the blood out of, just like with pigs, with cattle, I would presume it's the same with deer. And do you hang them up by their Achilles tendon? Okay. Because that is some really, really tough connective tissue. And that's what allows you to do that. Okay? And then sartorius, that's the longest muscle in the body. And then finally the gracilis. This, I'm presuming you can pull in an athletic event too. It's on the inside of your thigh. That's something we can go over at a later time. We went over these yesterday. And then we have these veins over here. There's another picture that we can go over that would have those. And then don't forget, we have these orders of mammals. Now, this is zoology here, okay? That doesn't pertain to you. It's just what we see here, here, these veins, and then these arteries, okay? So, what do we remember from, for instance, yesterday? Let's go ahead and take a peek. In other words, remember you have this available to you that has everything named for you, but it also has this. Okay? So, what artery would this possibly be? It's an iliac. You said that correctly, but I didn't say it. Common iliac. Still one more thing. It's the right common iliac artery. So common sense would say that you have a left common iliac artery. Now, how do you know that this is the common and that this is just the right iliac artery? How would you know the difference? Okay, so this is the external, that's right, but how do you know that this is the external iliac and that's just the common iliac? Okay, well, it's one of those things that we say how the human body's mapped out. It's because of tributaries. It's because this right common iliac artery comes down here and it branches off to the internal iliac. So once you get past that, now we have the right external iliac. This is the internal iliac. This is the common iliac. All right? So if we looked at this artery, but on this side right here, what would this possibly be? Starts with a B. It is the brachial artery. How do you know the difference between this brachial artery and this one right here? Is this the subclavian or the axillary artery? Right. But why? You say the armpit? That's correct. So associate the armpit area with the axillary artery. So what are we talking about here and here? Starts with an S. Your left and right subclavian. Is this the subclavian? No. And again, this is how you tell the difference because of tributaries that branch off of there. We have this ascending aorta, but right here at the top, what would that be called? Because we talked about that yesterday, because it's something that you would find right here. This is your aortic arch. And what happens is this actually branches off. This starts with a B as well, but it's not brachial. It's brachiocephalic. The reason that it's called that is cephalic means head. So when that branches off, it's going to bring blood supply to the right side of your head. It's just the way that the man upstairs designed us. There's really no rhyme or reason that we would say that. But what we're getting at here is, again, this is the brachiocephalic. Then this is the right common carotid. Is that one of your lists? Okay. So brachiocephalic, right common carotid. So then what must this one be then? This is the left common carotid. It doesn't have a brachiocephalic that branches off that. I don't have any answer for that. Why that is, it's probably just because of how the heart sets in the mediastinum here. And then what would this artery be? We said it already. Okay. We still have about 5. Was it about 3 o'clock when you individuals got your word bank? Was that fair or was it by now?
No, it was by now.
It was by now. Okay, I will hit pause and I'll put that in the drop folder. Okay, so now we're back. Okay. So again, this vessel, it starts with an S. That's the subclavian. Now remember, there is no brachiocephalic on the left side. It's only on here. And it's when you see these tributaries that start branching off into separate areas, how you classify all these different arteries. So what this means then is this is the left subclavian until it comes down here where there's some tributaries. Now we're in the armpit area. That's where we have the left axillary artery. Now there's another tributary here, so now we're down into the brachial area. One way you could associate that, what muscle are you looking at right here? Biceps. So your biceps must be supplied by your brachial artery. Keep your letters together. That is hopefully something that you can utilize as a tool to keep a lot of this separated, because some of you are talking about going into health science degrees. There's a lot for you to have to remember, and we want you to have a good, wide foundation, and it all starts here. Okay? And there's no rhyme or reason to say that you can't do that when you go to college. Okay? It's going to be great. It's going to be tough, but you have 2 years until you have to do that. All right? So let's see here. There's one. I think we've pretty much hit all of them because we talked about the aorta here, the brachiocephalic, the left common carotid, the right common carotid, the right subclavian, the left subclavian, the right axillary artery, the left axial artery, the left brachial, the right brachial right here. And just keep in mind, we can still ask for identifications on this side. And some of you probably noticed that on your skeletal diagram or your muscle diagram. It was probably pointing to the same thing that had a line on it, and I'm just using this as an example. We know that this is the right brachial artery, but maybe we would have something pointed to this side. It's still the brachial artery, it's just on the left side, not the right. Okay. So then let's look at some of these muscles perhaps. Okay. And we have quite a few of these that we can go over. Some of these, this was on your first exam. Not everyone, but what is this called? Trapezius, okay? This large back muscle, latissimus dorsi, okay? Then what is this muscle called? And again, look to see, sometimes you can use this as a clue because there's a bone here and there's a bone here. That's the clavicle, that's the sternum. So then this must be which muscle? Sternocleidomastoid. It's a long term. Okay? So this muscle right here, it clenches and closes the jaw. The masseter. That's right. Maybe we should enlarge that a little bit. Here's the masseter muscle right here. Okay? Here is the zygomatic muscle right here. Then the buccinator is underneath here. So you have three muscles that are in the same vicinity, but if you enlarge that enough, you will be able to see the difference between them. Okay? Masseter, okay? Zygomaticus, there's actually two of them. This is a zygomaticus major, that's the zygomaticus minor. We're just concerned about the large one. Then the buccinator is actually right here. It's underneath. Okay? Sternocleidomastoid, like you had already identified. What about this one right here? Okay? And what about this one? This right here, the shoulder. There's a reason why I'm kind of laughing. It's not on your list, is it? But you got it right. It is the deltoid. Is it on your list? Maybe it is.
It's not highlighted.
Oh, okay. Let's see here. It wasn't on this list. And it's okay. That's why I'm surprised. That's good that you know that. Good. Okay. Then let's see here. Where were we? Okay. Then this one's pretty simple. We just talked about it. The brachial arteries right here. Yes, your biceps. Okay. Then there's two muscles in this vicinity. How do you know the difference? You're right. Yes, the external oblique is over here. Okay? And here is your rectus abdominis. Now, there's more than one muscle that has rectus in its name. Do we know where the other one's at? And it's part of the quadriceps group. Quads. That's right. But doesn't say where it's at, though. Okay. Here, there's nothing pointing to this. But there is on the other side. This muscle is the same as this one. This will be your right rectus femoris. This is your left rectus femoris. Okay? So, why is it called femoris? Because your femur's right there. Okay? This structure right here. I really thought that was your answer. 39.
No.
Oh. I don't know. I was pointing at the patella here and you say 39.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Okay. What are these two muscles of the quadriceps? How do you know the difference? Yeah, medial is closer towards the midline. And you're going to see that comes up a lot in anatomical terms. Did you get the word bank?
Yeah, but most of them were either repeated or not in it.
Oh.
So I don't know if a lot of mine are right.
Well, we'll see. We got to be fair with the other group, so Everyone else, I think, has probably done fairly well. We'll see how that turns out. Okay. So then I don't think there's a whole lot left that's on the ventral / anterior side. There's maybe this one right here, the longest muscle. That's your sartorius then, okay? So now we need to zoom out. Okay. So then this is where it gets to be a little more tricky, okay? Okay. Thank you. So then, as what we were talking about earlier, okay, we've got this quadriceps group here, and we have our hamstring group here. Now, even though it's a quadriceps group, you can only see 3 of them, okay? On the hamstring group, there's only 3 of them, and you can see all 3 of them. So, one of the aspects that you can do to help yourself out, okay, why would we call it the biceps femoris? One, it's in the femoral area. But that doesn't explain why it's got the name biceps, because isn't the biceps up here? Well, yeah. But what do you notice about this biceps muscle? This has, what is the vocabulary term that says when a muscle attaches to a bone, the bone portion that does the moving, that is an insertion. That's right. See, sometimes I think we get so, our heads wrapped around so much about we have to have this definition memorized. No, you can still describe something without having the exact book definition, and that's an example of that right there. So, that must mean there's 2 insertions down here, which there is. That's why this muscle's named the way it is, the biceps brachii. So then if we take that same type of knowledge and we apply that to part of the hamstring group, maybe enlarge it a little bit. Okay. So, if you look really close, we got this connective tissue here. And I know it's a little blurry. We have one muscle here, one muscle here, and then one muscle here. So this one, and this one. So you have a biceps femoris, you have a semitendinosus, and a semimembranosus. But one of the things that we said, you know you're looking at the biceps brachii because it's got 2 insertions. Well, the same thing takes place in your leg. This has 2 insertions. This has 2 insertions. So then, just by knowing that, what does that tell you which muscle you're looking at then? If it has 2 insertions. Yeah. So biceps, not brachii, biceps femoris then, okay? And I gave you bad information. I had the right idea, I didn't explain it right, okay? This is your biceps femoris. This is your semimembranosus. This is the semitendinosus. Okay, so we got that cleared up. Semitendinosus, semimembranosus, biceps femoris. Yes. Did you get the word bank? Yeah, it was in the drop folder, but you got them all wrote out. Okay. Okay. Very good. Okay. Biceps femoris, semitendinosus, semimembranosus. Now, how would you know that? Okay, let me just take a look at that quick.
That one looks more on the inside, so it would be like the one right there.
Okay. I just want to take a look at that.
Like the ones you're pointing at?
Yeah.
More like the sartorius.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, but remember the sartorius is on the other side. Okay. Okay. And could be. So the biceps, remember the biceps femoris is actually on the outside of the leg. That's why we look at that, and it has 2 insertions down here. And it's really hard to see, and it's blurry. I understand that. Okay? Then what is this muscle right here that would, let's say, raise the leg or your foot up? You don't need to know the action. Soleus. So if this is the soleus, which it is, this one is your gastrocnemius, which some people call the calf muscle, which is, we don't accept that here. We want to say gastrocnemius. And then part of your glutes right here, there's actually a gluteus medius, but you can't see that from the surface. Okay. So, questions with what we have here, okay? So we've gone over these, okay? We've gone over these. The only thing we have left is the femoral vein and the iliac veins as well. Now, there are more veins to know, but it's not in the same diagram. What do we mean by that? We're talking about this right here. Oh. Yeah, I don't know what happened to it. It just disappeared for some reason. Okay. But again, just don't forget, you still have these order names of the mammals.
So is there more than 3 veins that we need to know?
Well, there are, but they're also part of the heart, the vena cava and the pulmonary artery and vein. Okay? All right. Any questions? Otherwise, that's, oh, here we go. I just had it zoomed in too far. Yeah, the femoral vein, the external iliac and common iliac veins. And then that's really all we have. Oh, softball. That's right. Okay. We have one more day, and I know track can get switched. I don't think that's going to happen. Coach Preheim said, we're just going to grow with how the schedule is right now. It's scheduled for Thursday. We're going to stick to a Thursday schedule for track. All right. That's all I have, unless you have something to add. Yeah. But we're not going to write them down now. Okay, so yes, bonus questions, but not right now. So that's all that we have. We'll stop there. And again, think of things that you might, I need a little more clarification of this. I can't remember how to keep this separate from what parts of the body when you're talking about blood vessels. All right? So that's all I have. We'll catch up to you next time.